right, welcome back to the first basketball episode of Inside the Huddle. We're joined here by head coach Kiera Wooden. Coach, a new season is now just a few days away. Talk about how camp has gone and looking ahead to the start of a new year.
I mean, so far so good. We have everybody back healthy right now, so that's exciting, obviously. We have our last scrimmage coming up this Saturday, so we're looking forward to, with everybody being healthy, looking at our rotations and you know, getting our combinations together. But we're excited. We're looking forward to it, and just seeing what this year's Golden Rams can actually do.
So what this year's Golden Rams can actually do, let's take a step back for a moment and talk about last season. Last year, tremendously special year, first regional final appearance in school history.
Yes.
Really the whole group back from that team.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think that experience does for a team that was younger and growing last year, maybe a year older, a year more experienced?
Definitely a year older, definitely a year more experienced. I think that they know what it takes to get there now. I think the biggest thing for us is the fact that they're not sneaking up on anybody, right? Last year's team was new. They had a lot of new pieces. People weren't familiar with them. Everyone knows who our team is now. Everyone knows who we have back. They know who our all-conference players are. So I think it's different in our approach because now we have the target on our back. Now we're going to get everybody's best effort on any given night, and our team has to be ready to step up to that challenge. They can't rest on what they did last year. Last year was great, but last year is over. So while we're excited about it and, you know, we're happy that it happened, this is a new year. This is a new us. The pieces are the same, but the expectations are way higher outside of our circle. And I think we have to do a great job of managing that.
So knowing what the expectations are has kind of shaped your preseason respect in the polls.
Correct.
Unanimous favorite to win the East, picked 13th in the WBCA poll, which is the highest ranking in our Division II history.
Mm-hmm.
How much stock do you put into those? How much do you talk about those? Or is that just a nice thing to have and it's about?
I mean, it's, you know, it's this generation, right? So for me, it's nice for social media purposes, right? Oh, it gets our name out there. It you know, it lets people know more about Westchester that might not have been familiar with us prior to that. But outside of that, it doesn't do anything for us because we're not resting on it.
Sure.
As much as it's great, it's an honor. We appreciate it. At the end of the day, nobody cares where you are in preseason. Everybody's worried about where you are in March.
Right.
So while we're excited about it, our focus is where are we going to be at the end rather than where we are at the beginning.
So speaking of March, last year, in order to do a lot of the things you did, had to go on the road.
Yes.
Took a trip out to Erie to begin March. Took a trip to Glenville State a little bit later in March. This year, PCC Final Four in the East. So it's all kind of in front of the chance to have some big moments here in Hollinger Fieldhouse.
Yes.
Have you talked about that at the team, or is that something that you're trying to keep out of view until we get a little bit closer?
We haven't talked about it, but they're aware. You know, it's, again, social media. Everybody knows everything based on that. So is it something that we've talked about? Briefly, you know, everybody knows it can be in the East. If it's going to be in the East, obviously we want it to be here. But I think that we're less focused on March and focused on each step that it takes to get to March, because I think if you start worrying about March hosting and that sort of thing, then you forget everything that's needed and then March doesn't come to fruition. So I think we're just focusing on getting better each day, practicing hard, playing up to the standards that we're capable of, and then we'll let March rankings, seedings, hosting, we'll let all that take care of itself.
So shifting away a little bit from the big picture, from the team, let's talk about the returning group. You return entire starting five, over 90% of your offense from last year.
Yes.
Just talk about that returning group.
I mean, like you said, we're a year older, we're a year wiser. We're led by Leah Johnson, who's all-American, all-conference. You know, she's all everything, potential to break the all-time leading scoring record. She's the it factor, right? I think as she goes, we go, because I think that she does the best job of getting everyone involved. Yes, can she go get hers? Absolutely. But I think that she knows who needs to get touches, when they need to get them, and how to get them to get everybody in a flow. So obviously she's a leader in that regard. And then, you know, we have M, who's coming back, and she's walking double-double, first team all-conference. So we're excited about what she brings to the table. Again, a year older. more of a leader, and we're going to expect her to do some of that, especially with some of the younger post players. You have Mia Kazicki, right, who Defensive Player of the Year, love her to death. I'm trying not to rein her in too much in terms of what she does on defense, but trying to keep her out of foul trouble. Sure. So we'll look to her to do some things not only on the offensive end, but the defensive end, obviously. And then you have Anna coming back, who is a versatile scorer who can guard at a lot of different positions, who can put up numbers on any given night. So with that nucleus returning, and then you have Morgan, who is our final starter, but definitely not least. She's the defensive juggernaut. We put her on the best offensive players, and she brings that to the table, that consistency, that she can knock down the shot. So our starting five returning is definitely going to be key to our success. But I also think that we have some pieces coming off the bench, and I think we have some more depth than we had last year that we're also excited about.
So some of that depth comes from, you did bring in two transfers who have both been in the PSAC and kind of have an idea of what it takes to win in this league.
Absolutely.
You have Jade Boyd from Mercyhurst, you have Sophia Colin from Kutztown. Talk about those two players and what they've shown you early on.
Jade is probably, I will say, one of the easiest players that I have ever had to coach. She has transitioned seamlessly into this team. Like, there's no way that you would think that she just got here a couple months ago, because she plays with them and interacts with them as though she's always been here, which is great to see, because I think, when you're trying to add new pieces to a puzzle, you have to make sure those pieces fit, right? Otherwise, the puzzle doesn't come out right. And I think she fits seamlessly, not only for what she does on offense in terms of her scoring, but I think she brings a different dynamic on the defensive end, and she brings leadership because she's not afraid to say what needs to be said. And she says it at the right time in the right way, sure, which is also very important when you're coaching females, right? So I'm excited about what she's bringing to the table, like I said, on both ends of the floor. And then Sophia also adds depth, right? She can score in a variety of ways. She can finish at the rim. She can shoot. She's finding her way, right? She's transitioning from not having seen significant playing time since high school, right? So her transition is a little bit different compared to Jade's, but both pieces are definitely going to be key to this year's success, and we're looking forward to seeing how they develop.
Also brought in a couple true freshmen.
Mm-hmm.
Just talk about that group. What you've seen out of them so far, how they're transitioning to college basketball. Obviously, it is a big transition.
Absolutely, and obviously, anytime that you're transitioning from high school to college, I think the main things are bigger, faster, stronger, right? At all levels, yep, right? And I think that is the challenge. And it's not a challenge that they're shying away from. Sure. So we have Kyla, who's coming in as a backup point guard to Leah, learning from one of the best, and obviously, and learning well and picking up the things that we needed her to pick up quickly. She's running the sets and getting the people the ball that need to get it. We also have Hannah, who is another Delaware girl, so I'm never mad about that, who brings some athleticism and some leaping abilities and some defense and can finish around the rim. So I'm excited to see how she develops. And then we also have Erin, who's a stretch four, who has, played some minutes in some of the scrimmages and shown why we've added her to the roster in terms of her scoring ability and things like that. So, like I said, it's bigger, faster, stronger in terms of the transition from high school to college, but they're relishing in that role.
So opening night, opening up against another NCAA tournament team in Elizabeth City State, who's receiving votes in the national poll as well right now.
Yes.
Talk about what your message to the team is going into that game on Saturday evening.
Honestly, to have fun. We're both two teams that were in the NCAA tournament last year, so everybody's going to put a lot of hype on that. But at the end of the day, this is two new teams, right, two new dynamics, and again, neither one of us can rest on what we did last year. We've never shied away from competition, so we always want to play teams that are top teams. So them being an NCAA team last year is why we wanted to match up against them. I think it'll be a great opening game. I think that the styles of play contrast, so I think that'll be different. They're definitely up tempo and that sort of thing. But I mean, we've been playing Glenville for the last couple of years, so I think we can at least know what to expect in terms of up tempo and pressure and that sort of thing. And then it's just how we respond and how we react to it.
Yeah, you've certainly seen that tempo in recent years between Glenville, State. Some of your scrimmages, you've seen some of that tempo
Absolutely.
too. So nothing really out of the ordinary.
No, we try to schedule our scrimmages so that we're prepared for pretty much anything. So hopefully that shows in our opening weekend, but that's the goal from the scrimmages, right? To prepare you for anything that you might see.